When you start growing, you are inevitably gonna lose people. And I say that in inverted commas because is it really a loss? Are you really losing something that was valuable in the first place if it required you to be a lesser, inauthentic, sort of minimized version of yourself? Are you really losing anything? Because in my opinion, I don't think you are. And I know from my experience, I don't think that any of the people that have kind of fallen by the wayside during my healing journey has been a loss. It's simply been something that has just happened because I've decided to choose myself. And if that's what happens when I choose myself, then honestly, so be it. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Hattie Hyder, and this channel is all about success, growing, glowing up, spirituality, mindfulness, and just reprogramming your mind to create the life that you truly want. Definitely hit subscribe, that really helps me out. I appreciate it so much, more than I can explain. Today I want to get into how losing people to your healing journey and watching people kind of come in and out of your life during this period of time is something to celebrate, is something to be grateful about. It's a demonstration of this incredible journey that you're embarking on, this incredible journey that's going to make you so fulfilled. And it is painful, it is tough, it's very uncomfortable, and it's hard, but actually it's so worth it. And I want to just reassure you that it's okay if you lose people when you start healing, when you start becoming your true self, when you start being your authentic self. And honestly, just a rite of passage through this healing journey. I think about beginning my own healing journey. I never really thought it would require me to lose people or connections in my life. I thought I just had to heal a specific part, my anxious attachment style or my people pleaser, tendencies and that kind of thing, without realizing that it required getting rid of those people that benefited from me having an anxious attachment style, being a people pleaser, lacking boundaries. And it was a very uncomfortable realization. I've just gone through a whole year of it happening at fast pace, and it's been really tough. But I feel like I've developed this understanding now to then be able to help you get through this journey yourself and understand that it actually is a beautiful thing, because you are signing yourself up for a better life for yourself, one that doesn't include as much anxiety, one that doesn't include feeling resentful towards yourself, one that doesn't include feeling resentful towards other people, one that includes only fulfilling and healthy relationships in your life. My first point from this then is that when you start to grow, when you start to heal those parts of you that don't fulfill you, you are becoming more and more aligned with your authentic self. When you start to lose people, friends, family members, even a relationship, as a result of you healing, you are actually becoming closer to the person that you were before you were affected or traumatized into being a certain way. So for example, like I said, I'm a recovering people pleaser, I'm learning to set boundaries and so on. As a child, before I learned that boundaries were bad and that my needs didn't matter, I obviously at my core would have inherently thought that my needs mattered, that, my boundaries mattered. I would have had boundaries. And then I was kind of taught or conditioned not to have them and not to put my needs first, because that wasn't going to help me survive. I was traumatized into making sure that I was safe by having no boundaries, by not standing up for myself, by not putting my needs first. This healing work, you're trying to come back to who you were at your core. This person that you were before you were traumatized, this person that you were before your conditioning to be a certain way or have these traits that you currently have that you're trying to heal from. When you begin to lose people who were in your life when you were this unhealed version of yourself or less healed version of yourself, you're literally removing people who perpetuate this inauthentic version of you, this traumatized version of you, this person that doesn't make you, you're not happy with, you're not, the unhealed version of you. These people are around you because they reflect back to you yourself, and yourself at that point was unhealed and, still traumatized. Those people were aligned with you when you were unhealed, and losing them is a very clear and gorgeous sign, to be honest, that you're healing. that you are becoming more aligned with who you really are, that core, person. If we can, that is something to celebrate. That's something to be like, you know what? The fact that, I'm losing people that used me, or losing people that liked me when I was boundaryless, or so on, whatever the trait is that you're trying to heal, you're not losing anything. You're just losing people that were sapping the energy out of you. You're just losing people that were aligned with this inauthentic, unhealed version of you. And growing into this more authentic and more healed version of you, those people are going to fall by the wayside. But isn't that a really lovely indication that things are moving forward for you, that you're becoming more fulfilled? And when you're more fulfilled, you're more happy-go-lucky, you're more positive, you're more optimistic, you're looking for good things to happen to you. So actually, it has this beautiful knock-on effect on other areas of your life. When you start to remove bad energies from your life, or energies that no longer serve you, you're relinquishing the capacity that you once spent on, worrying about that relationship, or worrying about that friendship, or worrying about that family member, or agonizing over it, to now having this capacity to strive for your success, to strive for better relationships, open up the room for healthy relationships, and becoming this more fulfilled version of you. Because I think when you become more fulfilled, the knock-on effect is that you start to kind of like yourself more. And I don't know about you, but I often felt that the people I was surrounded with before I started this healing journey didn't make me feel like I was worthy, and it didn't fulfill me, and it left me feeling quite worthless. And I want to like myself. Like, when you choose to work on yourself, you start to understand yourself more, and you start to like yourself more. So when you start to like yourself more, you're like, wait a minute, these other people don't make me feel valuable. These people don't make me feel, good about myself. You don't want that anymore. You don't want to be around people that don't make you feel good. No friend should leave you feeling less than, like, worthless. I think when you start this healing journey, you're understanding, your light and dark, and actually starting to take ownership of those things. And even like those dark things about you. I know for me, one thing that's coming out is that I am actually a lot more direct and assertive than I was as this people pleaser version of me. And I love that about myself. Society isn't a massive fan because, of all sorts of reasons why, directness and assertiveness, especially in the British culture, is not celebrated. But I love that part of myself, and I don't come away from hanging out with my friends anymore feeling like that's a bad part of me, as if, that's something that I shouldn't celebrate, something I should, dumb down. But the people that I had in my past didn't celebrate those things about me. They basically didn't like those things about me, because actually what they preferred was this amenable, mellow version of me that suited them. So it's just this funny sort of experience where you're realizing you like yourself, and you like yourself more, and then this kind of like positive cycle of like, well, I like myself more, and therefore I'm not going to tolerate people that don't make me feel like I'm good, that, I come away feeling bad from. And I suppose it's just interesting to see who sticks around when you start to like yourself more and who doesn't, because it's a good indication of who actually likes you authentically and who likes you because you provide some kind of value for them. They can use you in some way. And when you start to become this authentic self, they can no longer do that, and therefore you're like not valuable to them anymore. And honestly, good riddance. I don't want anybody in my life that prefers me when I don't like myself, that prefers me when I don't stand up for myself, that prefers me when I am a lesser version of myself. Fucking bye. Another thing you might notice, certainly for me it did, when you start to move away from people that don't serve you, or in the way I described before, prefer you when you don't like yourself, when you're a lesser version of yourself, is that the anxiety fully just disperses out of your body. I don't know what it is, but the amount of friends I used to have who I felt anxious around, who I didn't feel like myself around, and therefore was having to pretend, was way too many. I found it exhausting and anxiety inducing to have to be cramped into this little box where I couldn't just be myself. When you are faking, when you are pretending, it's absolutely exhausting to have to do that. And I think, it's like a recovering people pleaser. Formerly, as a people pleaser, you're taught to basically not be yourself, because that's not good enough. You have to be somebody for everybody else, so you have to mold. And that is really exhausting. And of course, that induces anxiety because you're constantly thinking, okay, what kind of version of me am I going to have to front myself with today? You know, I'd be anxious around certain people because they weren't aligned with me. And of course, that has an effect on your nervous system. So your nervous system's all deregulated. And so one thing that is beneficial about losing these people when you start healing and when you start becoming more authentic is that your anxiety levels just went down. Like, I can't really believe the amount of anxiety I had around some former friends before I decided to call it a day with them. You know, every day I'd wake up and I think, oh my God, I've got a message from them. Oh, it makes me feel sick. Oh, I haven't got a message from them. That makes me feel sick too. Have I done something? Do you think there's something that I've done wrong that they haven't told me about? Is this person good with me today? Is this person off with me today? Has this person made a jab at me? I can't tell if they've made a jab at me or a snide comment about me. I can't tell. All of this stuff is just like, that never crosses my mind anymore. Whenever I see friends now, it's this high vibrational, high energy interaction, which is just like, yeah, like this, let's talk about these ideas. Oh my God, you're doing so well. Oh my God, what are your plans? What are your achievements? What are your goals? Like, it's just this fantastic high vibrational interaction. And I can't believe there was ever situations where I came away feeling like, that sucked. Questioning myself, questioning my value, questioning whether or not I was like a good person because that person made me feel less than. I don't feel anxious. I just don't feel anxious or nervous about how somebody feels about me. I'm not unsure about where I stand with my friends. Just this anxiety is just gone, and it's just beautiful because I have so much more time to push all that energy that I used to like worry, you know, use up worrying or use up with anxiety on things that really matter to me, on my goals, on my, you know, achievements, on my relationship, on my family, on my, you know, healthy friendships. And it's like a blessing. It's like, you know, I wake up every day and it's like heaven. It's like, oh, I don't have to worry about whether or not I'm in somebody's good books today because I can't tell how they feel about me. It's just not there anymore. So the anxiety that is just gone after this sort of healing process or working on yourself and then losing people that prefer the unhealed version of you is so liberating. It just like frees up so much capacity for things that really matter to you and things that are really important. Like, it's like I have this whole new lease on life. Most days I would be on this like low vibration before. I'd be like constantly just thinking, you know, is this person good with me or whatever. I don't have any of that because my friends are just amazing. They are aligned with this healed version of me, this version of me that likes myself, this version of me that is authentic, this version of me that is, you know, happy to show their light and dark. They like that about me, and I'm able to just wallow in myself and who I am, and they celebrate that. One of the hardest things to come to terms with after ending some friendships that no longer served me was realizing how much those friendships had held me back and how much I had been stagnating in myself and my goals and my relationships with others because those friendships are holding me back. They were standing in my way of where I really wanted to be. And a really hard reality was that actually, and it doesn't seem like I don't really hear many people talk about it, but getting rid of friends that suck, getting rid of people in your life that suck and do not serve you and do not make you feel good about yourself opens up so many opportunities for your career, for your love life, for your goals and dreams, and for like a dream sort of reality that you want to live. It's really upsetting to think that I was like working on trying to do all these activities. You know, for example, when I first started YouTube, I still had those friends then. That didn't make me feel good. And I was this sort of like shell of myself. Like, I found it really hard to be confident on camera. I was policing my language. I was holding myself back in some capacity. I'm not saying it's all them, obviously, but just this version of me that was unhealed. It was almost like getting rid of these friends was like the physical representation of that healing work. It was like, look at what has happened now that you've grown. Look at who you're cleansing your body and your mind and your space of when you heal. And look at what was standing in your way before that. Yeah, it was really hard to come to terms with the fact that like I had been the shell version of myself, and the people around me reflected that, because obviously you tend to manifest people into your life that reflect back to you yourself. So because I was this like unhealed or less healed version of myself, having these people in my life reflected that. When they started to fall by the wayside, it was like, wait a minute, have I changed? Have I become somebody else? And I had. And I think one of the hardest things was acknowledging that I had held myself back by keeping around these friendships, because they were perpetuating this older version of myself. They were keeping me in this grip of my older self. They represented my inability to let go of this former version of me. And when I did let them go, I let go of the old version of me, the less healed version of me. And I was able to come to this place where more opportunities came in. I had this, it was almost like this whole cloud had like lifted from my brain. I could see clearly for the first time. I was able to see opportunities coming my way rather than seeing it as like, oh, is that actually for me or not? I was able to actually just be in my career and be in my businesses and be in my entrepreneurial sort of endeavors without thinking, oh, is somebody going to judge me for this? Somebody going to be like off with me because I remind them that they're doing a different path from me? Worrying about just literally being myself. I can't wear this because this person might be off with me because of it. Can't hang out with this person because this person's going to judge me for it. Just the liberating feeling of knowing that I could just live my authentic self, do things that authentically aligned with me, and I wouldn't experience scrutiny or judgment or frowns because of it, was liberating and lovely. And it was like this whole new world opened up where I could not have this secondary voice going on thinking, what will this person think? What will this person say? Do you think this person might, treat you differently because of this? I'm not getting distracted with what other people think. I'm not getting distracted with other people's judgments. I'm just doing me. I'm just doing what makes me happy. And it's gotten me out of my own way. I was giving up all of this emotional capacity to people that didn't like me, that didn't like who I really was, that preferred me when I was usable, when I was amenable, when I would do what they wanted. And when that's gone, it's like, whoa, I have all this capacity for things that really matter. This weight has just been lifted. And the thing is, when you keep around people that are not for you and are not backing you, there's this sort of evil eye going on as well, like people around you in your life. And I personally can't relate to this, and I'm sure many of you won't be able to relate to this, but so many people, even if they don't like you, oh my god, the sun is just making me glow. Even if they don't like you, some people will just keep you around because you're useful to them. Some people will just keep you around because they think that you're going to help them in some way or you're going to benefit them in some way. Oh my god. You can see my hazel eyes as well. Hey boo. A lot of people will keep people around who they don't actually like, but they see some kind of benefit with. It benefits them to keep them around in some capacity. Whether that's status, whether that's connections, whether that's money, whether that's popularity, whether that's literally just energy. So that's what evil eye is. It's like people that keep you close, not because they like you or, celebrate you for yourself, but because you benefit them in some way. So it's like this energy vampire, evil eye thing where they're manifesting bad things to happen to you because they don't like you. But had to move slightly because the sun was a bit intense, but they see that you benefit them in some way. And losing those kind of people, again, frees up so much energy. You're not getting your energy drained by people that are energy vampires and who can't cultivate their own magnetism and energeticness in order to attract people. They have to, feed off other people. And it's pretty sinister, especially when, you're somebody that doesn't really think that way and wouldn't ever be friends with somebody that they didn't like because they benefit them in some way. That is like, obviously for me, that would be like self-sabotage, so I wouldn't bother doing it. But some people are happy to do that if they feel like there's a benefit at the end of the line, or there's a benefit for them in somehow by being close to that person or proximate to that person. And it's really hard for people that don't operate in that way to understand that. But that, I've discovered, is how some people think and how some people operate. So when you lose those people, you're not losing anybody who was worthwhile. If anything, you're just losing people that were draining you of your energy. One of the loveliest things I have experienced after losing people that were not for me is that I've opened up doors to manifest people that are. So when you become more authentic, you repel people that aren't for you, that don't align with your authentic self, and you magnetize, you draw in, you attract people that are. So it's like this lovely bullshit filter where you're removing the people that suck and drawing in people that are just vibrant, energetic, magnetic people that are also drawn to you. You're freeing up, again, capacity for better friendships, healthier relationships, a better relationship with other, to enrich the friendships you already have that you value. That's one of the many benefits I've noticed. I'm connecting with other creatives. I'm connecting with people that have very similar goals to me. I'm connected with people that are better than me in terms of like one aspect. So they might be more intelligent, they might be more business savvy, they might be more creative, they might be able to elevate each other in some way. The friendships I have now are both extremely empathetic and deep, but also motivated, ambitious individuals, which I think is very aligned with me. The final thing I'm going to say is that it also liberates you from overthinking. When you start to lose those friends, when you start to remove those connections, you just stop overthinking as much. Like, you might not stop overthinking about perhaps other aspects of your life, but certainly when it comes to your relationships, the overthinking that those people would have formerly caused you to do just doesn't happen anymore. It kind of relates to my point about, you are freeing yourself of the anxiety and the dysregulated nervous system. It's the same thing. You're no longer overthinking and overanalyzing, because with the friendships, certainly for me, now that I hold, I'm not really overthinking the friendships at all. I don't overthink. I'm not agonizing over whether or not they're for me or they like me or they're good with me, because I just know that they are. I know that, there's not even something that crosses my mind. And I think overthinking, sometimes it is the individual, of course, and I think it can be a combination, but also you've got to remember that there are certain people that are going to induce that feeling in you. I don't have friendships now that induce that overthinking feeling in me, that anxiety feeling in me, that questioning, confused feeling in me. I used to, and I would overthink because I'd be thinking, like, again, do they like me? Where do I stand with them? Am I in their good books today? Am I in their bad books today? You deserve better than that. Honestly, fuck that. I don't think that really any friendship should leave you overthinking more than 5% of the time, because I think beyond that, something is perhaps misaligned. Say if one of you's off that day, calm, that's the 5%, but I just don't want to be overthinking. I don't want to be overthinking. I don't want to be agonizing over whether or where I stand with somebody. And so the friendships that I have now just are void of that overthinking. I don't overthink the friendships because I just feel so secure in the friendship. I don't feel like there's any underlying thing that I'm not sensing. It's very pure, very good intention, and very authentic on both sides. Losing those friends, you're going to be like, oh my God, this is just amazing. I'm not overthinking as much as I once did. Because you don't need to, because you feel secure. Anyway, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you took some value from it as well. Let me know in the comments down below your experience of losing connections, losing friends. I really, really want to know, and how it's kind of affected you, lessons you've learned from that experience. Definitely sound down in the comments. Anyway, with that, I hope you have a fantastic remainder of your day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.